episode of Awful Cooking, where today I'm going to be doing some actual meal prep for once. I'm going to make some vegetarian mince, so if you aren't vegetarian, you can skip that part and just use actual meat. And then I'm going to be making a meal with that and freezing the rest of it for another time. So I've got food in the freezer for, I don't know, at some point. On to the video. So I'm gonna be making mince, and then I'll be taking a portion of it and seasoning it. First things first, black beans. I will post the original designer of the recipe. In fact, I'll post in the description anyway. I'm gonna wash my hands and then drain the black beans. Then I'll wash my hands again because I hate black beans. I always love that soap because it reminds me of my grandma's house. So today the goal is to make some food that's going to take a little bit longer and that will do me for a couple of days so I can freeze things and be having healthier meals. Now then, can I open the black beans? That's the next question. Going with the spoon method, I'm hoping that the actual top tab, whatever you call it, don't come off. Draining the beans. Alright. Beans are relatively drained, so I'm just going to put them into the nice food processor that I have here. Obviously that's going to make a very loud noise, which is not nice, so I'm going to plug that in before I get anything else done. Try to remember how to actually put the thing together. I reckon it's sorted. Stay there. And then I'm going to pour in the black beans. They smell of something. I don't know quite of what, but there is a scent. There is definitely a scent of black beans, that's all I can say. And then I've got out my walnuts that I'm about to weigh in a second. A scale. Dude. We're on weighing mode. I want 50 grams of them. I feel like this is not 50 grams, so I'll open a different packet as well. And I found that's 50 grams of walnuts. There's not a great deal left, but there is another pack, so we're fine. And I'm once again just going to tip those into the food processor. Back into you. Okay, I'm going to go with welcome to the shopping board. I just want about 5 hefty-ish mushrooms. What? I don't actually like mushrooms, but you don't taste them in the mince. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Counting with crispy. That can be a new segment we have in every video. I promise it won't be. That would be pretty weird, not gonna lie. So, I don't know much about mushrooms, but I'm going to peel them and then take the stem things out. put all that in the food bin, and then I will chop them. I feel like if Gordon Ramsay lives in a different time zone, he's just sat bolt upright in bed and he's like, something's going wrong somewhere. But hey, we're not trying to make gourmet meals, we're just trying to make food. There's a fly in the kitchen. I'm just gonna put the lid on my food processor so it doesn't get at my mince. Shroom number 1. I'm not sure I truly understand mushrooms. The last of the shrooms completed, so I'm gonna put the debris from that in the bin, food bin. I think I've already mentioned about recycling and how weird it is in my location. Hey, it's nice and fresh so it doesn't reek. Washing my hands again because I've touched the food bin. You guys don't honestly need to see it, like it's like the 3rd time. And now I have my knife. I'm gonna see if I can move you guys so you can actually see what I'm doing here. And I'm just gonna like chop the mushrooms to a certain extent. Here's me, and then I'll bring the mushrooms into focus so it's not just like titty shot. And I'm just gonna like chop them kind of roughly. Like it's not that deep. I can cut, but like that's not fully what we're doing here. Alright. And then I'll take these over to the food processor. So, hi, new viewer Crispy, like floating head behind the food processor. Everything's in. I'll tilt it slightly, but I don't want to pour anything out. But yeah, I'm just gonna blend that, not until it's like mushy, but until it's combined. I don't really know. Again, I'll link the actual originator of the recipe below, and you can hear what professionals have to say about it. Yep. Right then. Okay, we've got technical difficulties, so I'm going to go and ask my mother for help. I fixed it. I actually didn't need help. I put the lid on the wrong way. It should work now. It works. That was quite terrifying. So it's been blending for a little bit. It's not quite done yet, but everything's around the sides and therefore not really blending. I'm going to go and grab a spoon, scrape off the sides, and then we'll carry on. Behold, the spoon. Everything is right where I needed it to be. Father, it's me, Michael. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. There's only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I may or may not have a little bit of like FNAF brain rot, but hey. I do love FNAF. Like, And I'm gonna call that done. I will grab a bowl and get back to you guys. So I have a casserole dish. I've also grabbed some pots. I do have lids for them as well. And I'm just gonna, I can speak, trust. I'm just gonna portion out some of the mince. I'm gonna make some tonight with my flatbread. I wish that weren't the second time I've done that. I know it turns to remove, but which way does it turn? It turns that way. That worked. I'll put all of it in the casserole dish and then portion it out after that. Looking delectable, don't you think? But yeah. So that'll be like 3 or 4 portions. I think. Where should I put my spoon? Now I'm getting a second spoon. Okay, that's 1 portion. I'll probably make like some spag bol or something with that. Portion number 2 I can make some chili or something with. And then I reckon I've got 2 portions left, both of which I'm going to make some Greek mince with. Some of it will be for tonight, some of it will be for later. Gonna go and get some spices and ingredients and the like, and then I'll be back. So we've moved again. I've acquired all the spices and other things that I need. This is a Hirayaka's recipe, but it's from, in fact, no, it's from a Greek book. In fact, I'll have a look. I might be wrong though. This is a Greek recipe from LoveFood. It's not Hirayaka's at all. I have had something similar that was Hirayaka's, but I don't remember what that was. Yeah. So. The scale is back. I really hope it doesn't need to be on a flat surface because we've moved. 55 grams of breadcrumbs. This serves a lot more people, but because it's vegetarian, I don't think it picks up the flavour as well as actual meat. I'm gonna put in double the recommended spices, or I'm gonna put in what's recommended for 4 people, and then that should be 2 servings. Also, I'm gonna be so real, I can't be bothered with the ratios of 55 grams. It's divisible by like 2 things. So that's 55 grams of breadcrumb. I don't have an onion because my mother doesn't like onions. I do have onion granules. I don't know how many to put in, so I'm just going to go with some. And they're a little bit congealed, so I'm going to use a skewer to get them out. Okay, so we've got some onion granules in. It should be a decent amount. Again, it says garlic clove, but I only have this. It makes me feel uncomfortable, but there's actually nothing wrong with it, so I'm just gonna put a spoonful in hopefully that's it. God, I hate this stuff. It makes me feel so deeply uncomfortable. And then that can go in the fridge where I don't have to look at it again. And now we're on to actual measurements. So I need a teaspoon of cumin, which I'm going to use my delightful little spoon for. Cumin. My delightful little spoon doesn't fit in the cumin, so I use 2 half teaspoons. Hyped up that spoon so much and everything. It says pinch of cinnamon, so I'm just going to go with some. Three tablespoons of parsley. I'm going to pour that onto the tablespoon. I have a tablespoon and a half, so I'll do 2 of those. Ratios in that. I really hope none of my maths teachers ever see this. For the record, I didn't fill the second tablespoon and a half all the way. That's why I put a little bit of extra in. That's method. Well, no, there's just madness in my madness, but hey. And then it just says salt and pepper, so I'm going to go with some, as usual. I don't like the shaker, it doesn't make that much sense to me. And then I'm just going to stir that. Incorporate everything into. Okay, that's relatively combined. It just needs an egg. And if anyone was wondering why the recipe wasn't vegan, this is why. No one was probably wondering that. But hey. Washing my hands again because the egg touched me. And then another reason why I don't half a lot of the ingredients is that it requires 1 egg for like double the amount of mince. And I don't know what would happen if I had that much less powder in that with the egg. I'm not a great cook. I can bake fine or whatever, and I do need to actually get on with the baking series that I said I was going to do, but hey. I'm just going to stir that until it's incorporated, and then they expect me to pick this up, which is always the least comfortable part of the entire thing, although that sounds weird, so I'll go with the most uncomfortable part. I am anticipated to pick up this mixture with no complaints. Okay, now I have to emotionally prepare myself to hold this thing. I don't know what benefit having my little hands in it really does, but hey. At least we know I've cleaned them probably several more times than was necessary. I'll mute this section for you guys because it's making some incredibly uncomfortable sounds. Dear God, why do I torture myself like this? Here is the ball. I mean, you can tell I'm uncomfortable because of how far up my shoulders are. And then I'm just gonna cut that in half with my trusty knife. It's giving Garten a ban wood to get the knife, kid. And I'm gonna put one of these abominations into another box. God, that makes me feel so deeply uncomfortable. Then I will muscle together the rest of it. My hands again and put this in the fridge. So that goes in the fridge to chill for an hour-ish, and then I'll come back because it's only 4:30 now. I will make the sauce, make the flatbread, and make probably meatballs with that or something, and grill them, I think. There aren't too many war crimes left in the kitchen though, so I think we're chilling. I'll see you guys in an hour or two. Only 6 o'clock because I got distracted. But I'm gonna go make the sauce, make some meatballs, I think, with this, and cook a flatbread. Do I want to make meatballs if I'm gonna put them? Yeah, I'll make meatballs. I think it'll be fine. Sauce time. I'm gonna move you guys over here, I think, and take my recipe book because I need that. Pan acquired. I'm gonna half everything with the sauce because I feel like that would make way too much sauce for one person. So 200 grams of tomato puree, because that's whatever you want to call it. Waiting for the scale to load. I've got 210, but it'll be fine. This goes back in the fridge. And then I think I'm just gonna put everything into it. So 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. I need more garlic. That's fine. Thought I was done with garlic for today, but no. Gotta deal with this thing again. It just makes me feel so deeply uncomfortable. Now I'm officially done looking at that. Half a teaspoon of cumin. What is my half teaspoon? For the record, I'm halving my sauce. I'm not halving my quantities of any of the spices. Tablespoon of parsley. Where's my tablespoon? This is my tablespoon. Just a delightful little set of spoons. There's all of them. Damn it, I need a bay leaf. I'm gonna put my salt and pepper and cinnamon in, and then I will go and get a bay leaf. Once again, I've got to do this thing, but it just doesn't really make sense to me. I never know if I'm quite using it right. So I'm off to get a bay leaf. I will see you in a second. Got the nice little bay leaf there that goes in, and then I forgot to do my cinnamon. I forgot to do the cinnamon before I left, so I'm gonna put a teaspoon of that in now, in 2.5 teaspoons, because the teaspoon actually doesn't fit in the jar of cinnamon. And then I'll make meatballs out of the mince and stir everything else. We've once again got my mother, so I'm at a little bit of an angle because she doesn't want to be on camera. And then you're just going to stir that, make meatballs, and I'll get back to you guys in a second. So my actual meatless balls are prepared. They are right here, they're chilling. They're quite little, but I do feel like I've made more than I wanted to, realistically. Hands are a mess. I'm gonna grill them and once again get back to you guys. So my meatballs are on a relatively low light under the grill. Oh, not low light, low shelf. Just that they can cook quite thoroughly all the way through. I'll turn them at some point. Then when they're pretty much done, I have a little meat thermometer that I can check them with. When they're pretty much done, I'll whack the flatbread in. Then I'll remove the bay leaf from the sauce and serve everything. So I have turned the meatless balls, I've put the flatbread in, I've turned the light off on the sauce because it was getting a little bit thick. Should be ready to serve in like 5-ish minutes. I've checked the inside, nice and hot. It was on something like 72 degrees, I think. Yeah, so we're chilling. And a quick side of bonus good news, my favourite plate. Because apparently I'm weird enough to have a favourite plate. It's a pretty nice plate though, you know, it's like nice and flat with a bit of a curved edge, and it's a pretty colour and pattern. I have a favourite plate, and it's this one. And there's only one of this plate in the entire house, which is a major inconvenience. There used to be 4, but they've all died along the years. Honestly, it's not my fault they're dead. I haven't ever killed a plate in this house. I've killed everything else, but I haven't killed a plate. Put the sauce back on a light for a little bit. Yep, we're cooking. I have managed to convince my family to actually try some meatless balls because I did make too many of them. And for some reason, they're always so against trying my cooking. Like, I'm not gonna poison them. Food poisoning is one of my major phobias. I don't know why they hate me. Anyway, plate for the meatless balls I'm finished preparing. And the center of the meatless balls is at a respectable 76 degrees. In other words, not murderous. Just spreading some sauce over it, you know. I'm not a chef, in case you couldn't tell. Meatless balls. I'll put a little bit of sauce for my parents, just so they can have some if they want it. And then the oven and everything's off. Oh, bay leaf. That can go in the food bin. So I always choose a hefty one so that I don't miss it if I accidentally forget about it, which I do most times. probably could have put a little bit of water into the sauce, thinking about it, but hey, it's fine. Bon appetit. Can we see that? We can kind of see that. So, coolio. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. It lets me know what you guys like to see. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye!